everyone, I am Miss Taylor and today I'm going to be reading chapter 7 of How Winston Came Home for Christmas. Oh, crumbs! Winston spent the rest of the day hiding out in Gaspard's bed. Well, hiding out is perhaps the wrong phrase. The bed was incredibly luxurious and so, feeling very tired from his long night journeying to Paris, Winston snuggled down among the velvets and silks and snored for the rest of the day. At supper time, Gaspard shared his dinner with his friend and Winston feasted on the most delicious food, freshly cooked by Gaspard's people. Gaspard, however, was far too excited to concentrate on the food. Winston couldn't help him but grin as he listened to Gaspard getting giddier and giddier as he planned how to break out of the apartment and into the pasture downstairs later that night. "This is my adventuring dream," Gaspard panted as his lilac curls bounced about in anticipation. Winston was also all of a jiggle at the thought of meeting the singing mouse and solving the very curious mystery in which he found himself mixed up in. Eventually, night fell and Gaspard's people went to bed. Gaspard, quivering with excitement, tiptoed down the hall with Winston on his back, clinging to the poodle's soft curly fur. Gaspard leaped up and opened the door before sneaking downstairs into the street. Getting into the pasture was a little trickier. Winston had to scamper all around its walls, crunching through the icy snow to see if he could find a way in. Gaspard kept watch, convinced that at any moment a gang of international spies would arrive. Thankfully they didn't, and soon Winston had found a solution. At the back of the bakery, a small window had been left a little open to let some of the heat from the ovens escape. The two adventurers managed to wiggle their way through, dropping with a bit of a bump to the floor. Inside, all was dark, but the light from the street lamp outside lent a warm, dim glow to the shop as Gaspard and Winston tiptoed about. The counter was full of the most delectable-looking treats. Caramel-covered cream-filled pastry balls were piled into a tall Christmas tree, and chocolate Yule logs, sprinkled with ice and sugar snow, sat in rows of jewel-coloured macaroons that beckoned to be nibbled. Winston walked carefully, sniffing. The smells were delicious. None of them matched the scent from his memories, but at that particular moment, it didn't matter. The enticing sugary smell of the cakes danced about his whiskers, making him forget why he was there. Luckily, Gaspard hadn't forgotten. He dashed about, searching and squinting into every dark corner. "There isn't anyone here," he said eventually, but the words were hardly out of his mouth when one of his long lilac ears suddenly arched upwards. "Wait a moment! There it is, he gasped. He clonked his head to the floor and listened. "Every night this past week I've been hearing this strange noise. It's coming from down there." His eyes were wide and wild. "There is someone under there," he whispered. "You don't think it's bandits, do you?" Winston didn't know that bandits crept about under the floorboards of cake shops, but he lowered his ear to the floor to listen anyway. His ear wiggled. Gaspard was right. There was someone moving under there. Together, Gaspard and Winston followed the noise through the quiet shop to behind the counter and watched in amazement as one of the floorboards lifted. Out popped a little mouse, carrying a large box wrapped with a bow. For a moment, everyone stood frozen, just looking at each other. Then Gaspard leaped into action. "Oh, crumbs!" he cried. "Are you a bandit?" The mouse looked offended. "What? A bandit?" she sniffed. "The very idea. I am Coco Gatto, Madam President of the Guild of Mice Bakers, Paris branch." She eyeballed Winston. "Are you here for the party?" Winston shook his head. I'm looking for someone." He explained to Coco what had brought him to Paris. He knew she wasn't the mouse he was looking for because his heart wasn't thumping in his chest. But he asked Coco if she knew other bakery mice. Well, said Coco, as it so happens, I do know rather a lot of them. There are hundreds and hundreds of us in the city. Hundreds and hundreds of other bakery mice? Winston didn't know if he was delighted by this news or disappointed. How would he ever find the mystery mouse before Christmas Eve? He had all those bakeries to investigate. It was only a few days away and he still had to get home to Oliver. Where will I start? He said. Coco grinned, her face crinkled up with joy. You are in luck. Tonight is the night of the Great Mouse Party. The night each Christmas when we all come together from across Paris, bringing our speciality cake with us. She paused to gesture to the box she was carrying. And we eat and celebrate and dance. It is a wonderful evening and it's happening here tonight. Winston couldn't believe it. He felt jiggly and jangly with excitement. Can I come with you? He cried. And can my friend Gaspard come too? He didn't want Gaspard to miss out on all the fun. Coco looked at Gaspard very carefully. Well, she said, it really is meant to be only for mice. Oh, said Gaspard. I'm not a mouse, but I do like cheese. He wagged his eyebrows. Ah, perfect, said Coco decisively. You are an honorary mouse for the evening. Now quickly, both of you, follow me. The party is about to begin. So that was chapter 7. Make sure you listen in tomorrow for chapter 8.